What up, my freaks? RuinusInsight here with part 11 of my Total War Warhammer 3 modded Tzarina Katarin Immortal Empires campaign. So as we saw last time, we got some great and very close battles against the forces of the rats under Throt the Unclean, but managed to destroy their army and heavily damage Throt's main force as well. In addition to that, Tzarina Katarin got to be a complete maniac on that Ice Court sled of hers, and I'm excited to try it out a little bit more, test it out a little bit more, compare it with the Frostworm, etc., etc. It'll also give some of the other units in these armies time to shine, as it would mean in the testing of it that we wouldn't be casting and destroying everything with Tzarina Katarin herself. Anyway, in terms of what we got to do this particular episode, the goal, the main idea here is to wipe out the Skaven, specifically Clan Moulder, now that they have confederated Clan Ferric. They have 6 territories to their name, which means that Tribe Slaughter, Carrick Doom, Pillar of Skulls, Krakadrak, and Fort Straghoff and Zoyschenk. All 6 of these territories must fall immediately. I am sick of dealing with the rats. I don't want any more rat plagues, and we need to make sure that we take the main Kislevite territory. The fact that they also have 6 territories is also indicative of the fact that they have left Erengrad a ruin, and there's nothing at Castle von Rauken or Norden, which we could either take for ourselves or potentially trade to Wissenland and Nuln. Have to think about that. If we were to, for example, try to, or possibly trade Beckhofen away from them, we might be able to take Dreika's territory and have this entire territory to ourselves as well, so there is potential for that. But anyway, now between the episodes I did a couple of things, well, mainly actually one thing, and the thing was naming the various snow leopards. Before I say all the names, please stop naming the snow leopards, guys. Stop it. Just stop it. I can't build any more snow leopards. We already have too many. It's enough. And I still have more names to add, so I don't know. But anyway, for now, Mittens, Fluffy, Kitka, Snowy, Snuggles, Sniffles, Snowball, and of course, Dave. These are the 8 snow leopards that we have in this current army. And you know what? While we're here, let's name a couple more things. You can be the step and distraction. There we go. Let's see, name one of the acolytes of Ursun, if I can find it in my list here. And there we go. Bearkin, simple, effective, true. All right, and let's see. Let's name these guys. They're not going anywhere. The Frostworms are definitely staying around in this army. So you can be the Drake of the North. Drake of the North. And you can be Yeslov the Frozen. There we go. All right, good enough for now. The other important name that we have added is the legendary name of Beledna the Defender, who is the other legendary lord from the Boris Ursus campaign, who saw off just so many Stonehorns. Never have I been attacked by so many Stonehorns. In fact, after the original release of the game, I don't think I've seen a Stonehorn from the Ogres. I'm not sure that they build them anymore or are capable of building them, in the sense that their camps just never get strong enough for them to actually pump out Stonehorns. But back in the day when Total Warhammer 3 released, the Ogres went pretty crazy on them, and the Disciples of the Maw in that campaign kept attacking Prague over and over and over again with just piles of Stonehorns for our Kossars to attempt to hold off. And Beledna the Defender of Prague cemented her legend forevermore on this channel in seeing every single Stonehorn off. Too bad we can't get, you can mod, I guess, but yeah, if she had a custom model, she'd have a bunch of like Stonehorn skins and tusks and stuff like that. Maybe an ice sled with tusks, or the Frostworm, like the throne on the Frostworm, made out of Stonehorn tusks. Yeah, if my channel ever becomes big, I promise you guys, I will commission artwork of all the community canon lords. That's definitely up on my list, just for fun. But anyway, a man can dream. Let's see. So, Beledna the Defender, I was talking about you. So we have to figure out what to do with you. We have 2 options. Option the first, delete the army completely so that she can't get attacked by Throt the Unclean, which I was musing about last episode. But Igor Talichev here is not in range of Zoishank because this is in March stance, meaning he cannot attack at this turn. If we were to give you, for example, some regiments of renown and overspend on it, we would be able to have you attack Zoishank, Igor attack Fort Stroghoff, maybe with Vladimir to help, or maybe we move him to the lair of the Troll King, I don't know. And Tzarina Katarin could attack Krakadrak, completely wiping out Throt's forces from the Kislevite territories in a single turn, which I do like the idea of. Of course, these guys will remain here, but, well, at least Throt will not appear over on this side anymore, and I'm kind of into the idea. So, Beledna. You have 2 spaces. What we're gonna do is we're gonna join up these 2 Kossars into 1 unit because they're pretty badly beat up. Yeah. Alright, do that, and then we're going to get the ludicrously expensive Frozen Heart of Winter and the Boydanov's Brawlers Streltsy. Why these 2? Tzarina Katarin is at 19 out of 20 units right now, and I'm disinclined to get her anything else, so we can either transfer this over or delete it, depending on if we want to upkeep the 800 per turn. It's pretty insane. We could also potentially give it to one of these armies as a temporary unit, or just, once again, keep the money. And the other thing is, I wanted a Streltsy-focused army, and I guess Beledna the Defender, you're up. We're going to give you the Streltsy. We will complete the Streltsy building right here, which is relatively close by. You'll march down there and rebuild your army very Streltsy forward. Now, obviously, that completely cripples our income, and we have very little treasury left, so we're going to counteract that by talking to Avalorn, and also the elves are just getting absolutely trounced. Looks like the Dread Fleet has taken a bite out of the donut here. Nakari has completely overrun the northern portion of the donut, and it looks like the Cult of Pleasure is making headway as well. They're not in good shape, and Be'lakor could be helping out against all that as well, potentially, depending on what he's doing. He is at war with them, after all. But what we're going to do is we're going to take their money by declaring war on the Cult of Pleasure, Dread Fleet, and Seducers of Slaanesh, simply because pretty much all factions will love us for declaring war on those guys. I see no problem with any of that. And that money should keep us in reasonably okay amounts. Now, and that should be enough to upgrade the Desolation of Drakenmore as we wanted to last turn. And we might as well do the Orthodoxy Chapel to get another Patriarch here. Then, oh, we have a new Ataman. You, with the Public Order or Control. We'll use you to make the public order okay here. Like so. Oh man, why can't we get another one with 10% upkeep increase? Or at least upkeep plus control rather than upkeep plus growth. Not that the growth is bad, mind you. Maybe I should have gone for this. Whatever. We can always delete these guys if I don't feel like keeping them. We'll take you, because you reduce construction cost, and we'll move you to the Eastern Oblast, where we can build up the economy there, or continue doing so. Starting next turn, of course. Alrighty, the rest of that looks good. Now, assuming that we don't have to build any further defensive structures here, which we do not, at least not until the Great Skull Lakes thing is done over the next couple of turns, we still have moves to make. Nikolai Pozharsky, you're going to join Yerogny's force, and Yerogny and Viktor Zamvin are going to attack Carrick Doom.
Follow me to glory!
Let's see if the enemy rats... Okay, there's no piles of rats there in the sense that... Oh, we could auto-resolve this if we wanted to. I wonder how much damage we'd take if we did. It's probably not worth the risk either way. You're gonna go here and join the army with Yerogny and Gotrek and Felix, and y'all gonna march up towards Carrick Doom. Yerogny, you can get... you probably don't need Heroic Resilience, because I doubt you're going to take that much damage. Let's get you Inspiring Presence. No, you know what? Let's get your Root Marcher for the first... Well, no. For the battle itself, we'll get your Inspiring Presence. Presumably, you'll level up, and then we'll get you the Root Marcher for when we hit Pillar of Skulls. Let's do this fight, shall we? Oh, before we get started, we did reach the engagement threshold for this particular episode, so we'll be doing the hour-long episode this time around, and the offer still stands at 350 likes and 50 comments, and the next episode will be an hour long as well. Away we go.
THAW looks upon those that defend Kislev with honor. Do not give him cause to turn from us!
Alright, here we go. It's gonna be a little bit of a while before Yarogni arrives on the field as a reinforcement, 5 minutes or so, but that's okay as we do have towers and to knock down, and the little Groms, by the looks of it, are pretty darn adept at it, and with those big old projectiles of theirs. I wonder if they have any super bonuses against buildings. Not that I can see here, but 100% damage multiplier against buildings. There it is. But I'm not sure what the regular multiplier of like cannons are, for example, against buildings. Either way, what I'm saying is the little Groms quite good at knocking those towers down, especially considering they're a little bit, they have a little bit more HP in SFO. We'll see how they do against the walls as well. Let's watch them knock down one more tower, perhaps, and then we'll speed it up rather than waiting, because the bombardment will take some time. On the bright side, unlike most artillery pieces, once these guys are out of ammunition, we can still send their bears into combat, and since we have a lot of single entities in this army, we can make, or we can put them to good use. Alright, there we go, and one more shot, I think, or you gotta move towards the enemy. Towards this tower. Alright, one more shot from you, and then I'll speed it up. We still have to make our way through those walls. Close the distance. And funnily enough, unlike with most artillery pieces where we would be afraid of the menace below being summoned on top of them, a pile of Krallan rats doesn't really have much of a chance of killing off a little Grom, and I'm sure the little Grom would send them scurrying, as they do cause fear as well, so they can defend themselves. Even if as an artillery piece, let's face it, they're kind of lackluster against anything but cavalry. But anyway, we're gonna speed this up a little bit while we do that bombardment. Gate has 30,000 HP, walls have 40,000 HP, but the towers at least are gonna be dropping. We are starting to run out of ammo. We do have restock available on our Družina, however, as to whether it's needed remains to be seen. We just need to breach the walls, really, now the towers are down. Looks like we got a minute until Yarogni and his command squad arrive on the field. Still no Ulrika, but not sure what happened there. We'll see. We'll see if we can see Ulrika as part of the roster of any of, like, the Imperials or anybody else. As in if she's been recruited by another faction or not. Alright, a little bit more. And the wall will be breached. Or wait, 400 HP? Oh no. Okay, good, it does get breached. I was worried that there would be a desync and the wall would fail to be breached, which would obviously be quite the issue. We still have the gate to work on, but frankly we don't even really need to do it anymore, because with the breach we really can just send all of these guys in, and they shouldn't really interfere with each other. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 if we count little Groms, single entities. It's quite a bit, it's half a stack. And while we do have the rest of our troops, I fear the enemy is not going to have a good time fighting Yarogni, Gotrek, Felix, all those patriarchs, etc., etc. And I'd say that's without any additional monstrous units like elemental bears or something like that, but funnily enough, I think the elemental bears would actually just be big targets in this situation, as in all the enemy range units would focus them down, but they'd have a tough time in dealing with the infantry units. Alright, well, for now it's time to get stuck in. Yarogni ripping some rats apart, and ooh, smartly focuses down on one of the enemy weapons teams. By the looks of it, it was a Death Globe Bombardier. We do need to get rid of them after all. Well, we're gonna be stuck in here for a while. I expect the rest of our army has to approach, and we do have an enemy Plague Claw catapult on the field as well. Another one of the Death Globes out. Gotta destroy all those guys before our infantry arrives, though we are very much surrounded by rats at this point. Družina's taken a few shots at the enemy Plague Priest up here, trying to actually get those shots hit, and it does look like he's taking a little bit of his HP off, if nothing else. Anyway, as I was saying, ooh, Plague Priest is gonna get a Pestilent Breath out. We're gonna take all 3 of our Kislevite warriors, because we're going to delete them next turn, because we can't afford any additional units right now, and we're gonna send them up these walls. The reason for this is they're not going to actually try to take the walls, they're going to drop off the walls immediately and try to go after this Plague Claw, as we're going to keep the rest of our main stack back until the Plague Claws are out, because we can't have them be killed. In the meantime, our single entity is still fighting, everybody working together, and our little Groms have arrived as well. Once again, we have multiple Patriarchs here, so between the 6 uses of Salyak's Lullaby and the basically infinite uses of the, okay, we don't have it up right now, but of the Battle Hymn of Tor, which reduces the enemy's attack, everybody here should be fine. Alright, that effect admittedly is a little bit much. Oh damn, I was gonna download the decrease effects mod, because they're a little bit too much, and I think that they take away from the battle of times. Like these net things, I really don't like the net effect when fighting the Skaven, though I think the mod doesn't actually take the net ability away. I'm not sure if it's an SFO ability or not, because it only works on vanilla abilities and not on SFO abilities. But yeah, this game, for all the fact that there's all this beautiful action going on, it's spectacular, but then sometimes you get these weird effects that just completely look weird. But all good. Alrighty, there we go. We got a nice Frost Maiden Kiss through the pile of the enemies, and actually we're doing pretty decent amounts of damage to the enemies right now. Can't actually see the bears on the little Groms attacking all that much, because they're trying to get through to other units. And all those infantry are blocking them off, but that's alright. And what ability is this? Oh, it's another Blessed by Filth. I guess they really want to keep us poisoned up, but I'm not sure that it's doing all that much. The Družina has unfortunately failed to catch the enemy Plague Priest, or snipe the enemy Plague Priest, and has entered the flay those rats. Enter the fray with that big ol' axe of his, while we continue working on them. And it looks like the enemy numbers are certainly dropping. In the meantime, our Kislevite warriors are climbing those walls and heading towards that Plague Claw catapult. Only a single unit, so we should be able to get there as long as these guys can run there. It'll take them a little bit. I did preemptively start sending a few of our Kossars in. They're gonna probably take a few shots from the Plague Claws, because I got sick of waiting, but all good. Anyway, our 10 single entities continue to fight. We get a little bit of support from our Frost Maiden, though limited in amount, because we really only have the one spell available to us, but it's all good. At least all the single entities are getting plenty of work here. Don't even need to riddle the enemy with arrows when you can kill thousands upon thousands of rats, or at least hundreds of rats, in this manner. Also, I can't spot Gotrek. I know he's in here somewhere, but something about his stature sticks out in terms of actually finding him here. There's Felix. Well, he's in here somewhere, rest assured. Alright, and hey, there's enemy warlord in here as well, together with those clan rats. Felix and Urogny, by the looks of it, are going after him. Oh, right, I sent Gotrek after the enemy lord, so he was probably just trying to chase the lord around throughout the battle, but that's fine. There he is. And perhaps we can't, it's difficult to spot him behind Felix and behind the little Groms. Anyway, it's time for our units to finally move in now that we've engaged the enemy Plague Claw catapult in the background, being chased by those Kislevite warriors that have made it over the walls, and the Watchmen in the night have made it in, if you can spot them outside of all those effects. I think the vanilla game should add like sort of a slider with regards to how many effects are up and running, though I guess once again that wouldn't really do much for modded runs. It would be more of an issue for vanilla, but that's what the mod does. I'm gonna get it after this episode. And just to see how many of these effects we can reduce. Like, I think Scurry Away is an effect that you don't see with that mod, like all these little activations. I just really want these nets gone, because you can't look at your units. And this is just like a slow effect, they're not stopped or anything like that. And it's just constant, like if you could have this effect be there once and then gone, that would be swell. Anyway, it looks like the enemy lord is done, and once the Watchman in the Night arrived, the enemy rats got absolutely ripped apart. But that's what these guys are for. They have a reasonably decent weapon strength and twin blades, so fast attacks, I take it, with the hidden stat that twin weapons usually confers. They don't have a lot of armor piercing, but fortunately most of the rats we faced off against here, whether they be plague monks or clan rats or what not, we're relatively low in armor. Balance of power is at about 90% in our favor. Our range Kossar units have arrived in our pin cushioning. And some of the enemy range units who are going to have a bad time. Slings versus arrows after all. And these guys have it on them as well. So this is a snare net and it reduces speed by 25%, but it's a crazy over-the-top effect for what it does. And honestly, by the looks of it, I feel like if you were covered with a net that big, and probably a warpstone net, judging by the color of it, you probably would be moving a little bit slower than 75% of your movement speed. But anyway, looks like a few plague monks have made it up on top of the wall and are going to be fighting those armored Kossars. Well, that's just lovely. I wanted to see some of the other armored Kossars, the non-Watchmen in the Night armored Kossars in action. That said, those plague monks are going to have a pretty bad time of it, as the regular Kossars will continue to drop arrows upon them, and the plague monks are moving down in a neat little line towards us, where hopefully we can drop a few more arrows on them up here rather than just where our Kossars are fighting. Though a fair few arrows are hitting our own Kossars as well, at least we've got armor and the plague monks do not, and our own units aren't all that high in armor piercing. Anyway, plague monks in pretty bad shape now, down to maybe 15% of their HP, though almost half of their units still remaining. Well, actually closer to a third, but anyway. Gun them down, arrow them down, axe them down. No shield bashers, unfortunately. Very nice. Once again, I still do like how these guys are willing to fire their pistols in close combat. Aw, poor little plague monk, all by himself. Oh, getting a heck of a duel with this one unit here, though. Why would you turn around like that? They're unbreakable, so he's not running away. What are you doing? I'm actually curious where this guy's going and why they're just ignoring him. What are you doing? he gets gunned down. Sometimes it's fun to follow a single unit just to see what he does. Anyway, let's see what's going on back here. The rats flee before Urogny, Gotrek, Felix the Patriarchs, the Little Groms, the Druzhina the Mage, and the Watchmen in the Night. The units here are cutting through the enemies quite easily. After all, once again, this is 12 units together now, even if it doesn't look like a lot because of them mostly being smaller single entities without mounts. I also haven't decided whether we give Urogny a bear mount or not. If we keep him on foot, we can keep him together on foot with Gotrek and Felix and continue to enjoy those lovely animations of his. Though if he's on a warbear, he'd be able to sort of get into combat with bigger enemy lords faster, and he would have a higher amount of splash damage, I take it, though he would be a bigger target as well. Kind of like Tzarina Katarin's mount, I might just sort of bounce between the two. And it also depends on what exactly we do with Urogny's army. Anyway, it looks like with that, the enemy army will shatter. They didn't get a lot of mileage out of their Plague Claw Catapult thanks to the Kislevite warriors, and they've served their purpose one last time before we delete them. Great job to the command squad. Alright, very good. Minimal losses. Our little Groms absolutely ripped the enemy towers apart, though it did take them a long time to bring down the wall right after, and they couldn't bring down the gate, but that was in part because the damn AI kept opening the doors, forcing the shots to go through it. But what can you do? In terms of kills, I'd just like to point out that all of our single entities were in that melee for quite the while, and at 179 kills and 12k damage, Irogny wins in both kills and damage dealt. Though, to be fair, we did send Gotrek to go after the enemy lord, so he got a little bit more damage dealt as gold value by virtue of that, but nonetheless, unsurprising result, let's say. We also did get plenty of kills on our Frostman, although 388 ain't anything crazy when the enemy has 2,000 rats to their name. Plus, we were able to use the little Groms in melee as well. 122 and 124 kills were from them fighting in melee after they had run out of ammunition. With the Patriarchs healing them up and the other single entities protecting them, they simply just obliterated the enemy rat infantry. Lovely. We're going to occupy the place, of course, and got ourselves a free power stone and a smuggler. Sure. Ranked up plus getting a large income and trade. I don't say 2.7k is a large income, but sure. Ritual Enforcer for Felix and a Ritual Enforcer for Gotrek. Why did we get those? Wait. Equipment gained. No, wrong equipment gained. Why must there be two? Ritual Enforcer ranked up in a province with high corruption. Oh, it's just generally high corruption. It has nothing to do with Slaanesh, despite the seduction reduction. Go figure. Alright, well, that's fine by me. Urogny, you're going to move up here. And we're actually going to delete all three of these Kislevite warriors. Though they were certainly helpful in that particular battle, we can't afford any additional units. Alright, now we also do not need the Oblast Moot here, so we will delete that and replace it with something a little bit more useful as we try to move on towards the Pillar of Skulls. Unfortunately, by the looks of it, we won't be able to reach it this turn, but that's fine. Also, Urogny, Root Marcher. Probably still won't be able to reach it, but just in case. And you, Firing Drills, max out to those piles of range units that you've got. Both of you can max out Replenish Troops. Like, so I'll not max it out, but get more points in it. Frost Shield, Ice Maiden's Kiss, and Ice Sheet. Oh, it's Ice Maiden's Kiss. You're a Frost Maiden, but it's Ice Maiden's Kiss. I've been calling it Frost Maiden's. Oh, well, but that's just deliberately confusing. Oh well. We're gonna get 1 point in Death Frost, probably gonna get 1 point in Frostblades as well, but for now we're trying to get to Heart of Winter. Let's see what we have on your guys. Patriarch is able to get into Urson's Roar, but not Salyak's Lullaby as yet, which we need to keep Gotrek and Felix alive. Speaking of Gotrek and Felix, and Blade Master for you, and let me guess, Blade Master for... Ooh, what do we have here? Wait. Laboratory, Retinue Physician, Potion of Healing for you, and these don't... Alright, we'll get Retinue Physician, and then we'll get Potion of Healing afterwards. These don't interfere with each other, which is great. Now, you need to be ranked 12 to get your special tree. And there is quite a few points to be used in there. Diplomatic relations with men and dwarfs. There's some nice stuff in here. Yeah, but it'll be a while before we can access it. Well, we'll just keep on leveling them up. Alrighty, and I do believe that is good for the end turn. Now, I am curious to see whether Throt the Unclean will attempt to attack us here, now that we have the Frozen Heart of Winter and Boydanov's Brawlers as well. Just in case he does, let's get another level point, let's get another point in Beledna's army. Gust of True Flight so that we can overcast it and buff up all of those Kossars with additional range. Skip the unassigned skill points, skip the buildings, as we can't spend any more cash right now. Let's end the turn, and let's see what the rats do. What's the likelihood you get attacked? Do we need to level this guy? Let's level him just in case. I don't think he's gonna get attacked, but why risk it, right? As for what you're getting, we can start moving through Icon of Strength to get you Impassioned. Now that you're on your Warbearer, you are a little bit more fighty, but your melee defense still leaves something to be desired. The other option is to spam Retinue Valet for more magic items rather, into Retinue Physician and more healing afterwards as well. Both are fine, and this gives us additional experience gain for accompanying Lord. Yeah, you know what, let's get tough as nails, why not? Why not? Now we can end the turn. Well, wait, does Tzarina Katarin need levels? She does, but who's going to threaten Tzarina Katarin's army right now? No one, that's who. End turn. Alright, now let's see what we've got in terms of enemies trying to attack us. Alright, Clan Molder, no dice. Okay, so they will not dare to attack the Beledna the Defender. And I suppose the Streltsy could have the, and we could use the Elemental Bears together with the Streltsy, kind of shadowing Stonehorns. And there we go, speaking of attacking us, Archaon has decided to declare war on us as well. Everybody's jumping on the bandwagon. And what can you do? Don't call your allies to help? We'll deal with him ourselves. Anybody else want to attack us today or declare war on us today? Let's see, no. Not this turn at least. What do we have here?
I have foreseen. The lamp speaks to me.
Tzarina Katarin sounds odd here. Eliminate Kivald, Banehosser, Ice Court, Cool are going to attack us together with Arcane. Oh, yeah, okay, that's why you sounded like Mother of Stankia there. Maybe Mother of Stankia is just Tzarina Katarin in the future. Anyway, casualty replenishment rate and yeah, standard stuff. We're not going to be doing this quest for a while until we get the things in the Woods Army up and running again. Oh, that's interesting. Huh. Wait. Oh, you can't reach Fort Stroghoff. Damn, we don't know what's in Zoishank. I'd really like to know what's in there. We could attempt to attack this. We could also march stance here to reinforce it, but then Vladimir can't attack Fort Strogov and we won't be able to take both settlements at the same time. I take it what happened is currently Throt is in there, plus the garrison, plus Krelk as well. And I fear that you won't be able to attack this together. We could leave Fort Strogov alive for another turn. You know what? Here's what we'll do. I'm going to attack you. I just want to see if it's what I think it is. And yeah, oh wow, okay, now we can't take that. That's a full garrison. Alright, we'll need to move an army to reinforce. Okay, so retreat for now. Retreat for now. We'll still attack this. Then... Clan Molders reveal, yeah. I guess we need to send Igor Talichev as a reinforcement. So, we're going to move you here. And then we're going to attack again. Another defender is doing a lot of attacking. Then I guess Vladimir Mikheyev, we would like to send you to Fort Stroghoff, but it might not be possible. What we can do, wait, do we suffer attrition here? No, meaning we can move into march stance as close to it as possible, but also have one of these two attack Fort Stroghoff next turn while you reinforce it, and then immediately head to the lair of the Troll King instead. Tzarina Katarin, you are going to switch to regular stance, I guess. And you're going to see what's in Krakadrak. Have to keep an eye on Samoth Manbane as well. And it's a bunch of rats, but that we knew, and this one I think is not worth fighting. So auto-resolve it will get damaged, I'm sure. But that's fine. And occupy the place. Also, how are we for... Oh, I was about to say, how are we for completing that Prophet quest? And we completed it. And Warrior Bane. With all the aura stacking we're doing on Vladimir Mikheyev, this might be the way to go for him. Why not? Ritual Enforcer, Seduce Units budget, yeah, we'll be using some of those guys. And Leadership Hex, from the Griffin banner. Could do more aura stacking on you. Although you are kind of, well... I was about to say you're out of units or space, but you know what? Give you the Griffin banner. We'll probably swap that to somebody else later on. But for now, this amuses me, so... And Warrior Bane. Anything here that we can delete into something more useful? We want to keep the Power Stones. One of Jet is okay. And we don't have any additional stuff that we want to get rid of, which means no. Okay, fine then. Fine. We'll attack you in a second, but I do want to see what else is going on. And for the love of... Well, with Archaon declaring war on us, he's probably heading down, and the Cool are as well. There's a little Skaven army there to deal with, and just to double check... Yeah, just short of this, Alright. And this is attrition-y, which is unfortunate, but what can you do? Move into encamp stance and go right... Wait. I need to figure out how far both of you can move. In case there's a full stack here, we don't want to get one of these guys ambushed. What we'll do is we'll have your Rogni take the Pillar of Skulls with Victor Zem and Scalp, and then maybe March stance him down to Tribe Slaughter, and then hope that that will allow us to deal with it. We will also uncollect the income here because the public order is horrendous, so yeah. Alright, and we'll have to deal with more luck whenever we can. Who's up next? Mikhaila Fedekova. Let's see if you... Okay, let's see if you are able to steel tech 3. What do we have here? Still 3, eh? 42, 39, 3. 42, 39, 3, so it's the same. What about here? Ah, 42, 40, but 2. So I'd rather not get wounded, so we'll head to the Moonshard. Nah, there's a little army here. And another success. Alright, well. You're not getting belednified yet, by the looks of it. Alrighty, next up, I was about to say we should spend some of our money, but no, we can't really do so. Minus 1.8k. Ah, you gotta spend money to make icicles. Go for Carck. Throt will be forced to come in as a reinforcement of the rest of his army. Unfortunately, this will mean that the rest of his army... I just realized that the issue with this is that the rest of his army will... run away, most likely, but I guess we do have the Kosovite archers and Dave and the rest of the Snow Kitties to help out. Alright, fine. War Banner, let's pop you on the Boydanov's Brawlers, and away we go. Pyrrhic Victory. Still Throt. It's still Throt, and... Huh. I don't see that Clanstone ability here. Curious, but he does have 6 menaces below. Go. Alrighty, here we go, the Frozen Heart of a Winter Elemental Bear Regiment of Renown. Great to see it on the field. These have always been very cool looking units. I've always loved how they've got all the trees and rocks up on the surface as if it just burrowed out of the permafrost. Very nice unit. If we can afford it, we'll keep it on the field just so that we can have an Elemental Bear up and around while we wait to actually be able to tech towards them, as that will probably take a while, and, you know, the ability to afford them as well. Yeah, it is super expensive, but it would be nice to have it. Plus, we also have the Boydanov's Brawlers Streltsy, who have always looked really cool. They've got that sort of golden armor that they have, and would probably work nicely in a sort of Griffin Legion army, though, to be fair, the Griffin Legion army is a lot, or the Griffin Legion look is a lot fancier than these guys, and these guys will be needed to lead our army of Streltsy, because I want an army with these guys, Bardiche Streltsy and regular Great Weapon Streltsy, and Great Axe Streltsy as well. All Streltsy, all the time. Anyway, here we go. Let's move on up and start getting our first volleys up. Boydanov's Brawlers fire away into the enemy units of Storm Vermin. Not doing a crazy amount of damage on them, but that's the sword and board variant, and besides, we have bigger fish to fry. The Storm Vermin can fall to a little bit of a breath attack from the Elemental Bear, while we activate the Gust of True Flight on our range units, and switch the fire, both Boydanov's Brawlers and the Kossars as well, to focusing down Mr. Gorich. Don't want him to close the distance, and activate his spin to win ability. There we go. Getting pin cushion now, and quickly losing about half his HP and more. You best pray to Corn Gorich, but I don't think he's going to bail you out. Anyway, Gorich is just about done for. A couple more volleys will take him out. The Elemental Bear has made it into the fray as well, though it does look like all the enemy range units are focusing as well. Oh, spin to lose this time around for Gorich. And yeah, it does look like the Elemental Bear has taken already a third of its HP. Definitely dangerous to use these types of units when you don't have either a Patriarch or a Hag, which to apply some kind of healing, but that's always the case for single entities, as the AI loves to focus them down. Now, we are trying to dish out as much damage as possible before Throt arrives with his pretty big reinforcing army, well, his army and the garrison army, but it's going to be a big thaw-inspiring battle. And here come our own reinforcements at the same time as Throt's. We've got all of our now named little snow leopards, and we'll see how effective they will be at knocking out Throt and whatever else he has got on his army. Anyway, let's continue. Definitely want an army with multiple elemental bears and multiple frost worms, and not just sort of like an ice creature army. See what we can do about that. Alright, I want to see a few more blows from the elemental bear. There we go. You had to do that into the camera, didn't you, Slaanesh giggle? But anyway, let's... Anyway, Kossars continue raining arrows down upon the enemy. Of course, that won't be too effective against the storm vermin due to their armor and shielding, but the elemental bear should be able to take care of them instead. There we are. Plus, the Frozen Heart of Winter has the ability, the Frozen Heart of Winter, or Winter's Heart, as well, and can probably do a fair bit of damage. There we go. Heart of Winter plus, the benefit of the Heart of Winter on these guys is it's actually centered on the unit, meaning if we choose to move the elemental bear around, the Heart of Winter will follow him around as well, which we could put to great use. In addition to that, with our reinforcements moving onto the field, all of our snow leopards have moved in, and they are currently in a fight with the rat ogres, Throt the Unclean, and I think there's another lord in here somewhere, plus the assassins as well, and we'll see how all of these single entities stack up against each other. Now, the snow leopards in this campaign so far haven't had the chance to sort of play to their strengths, as they're usually used to hunt down things like monstrous infantry, but we haven't really had much of an opportunity to do so against the enemy factions that we have faced. Here, though, the rat ogres and Throt the Unclean will be the targets, and the big ol' elemental bear will move in to help. I suppose we could do Frostworm's Elemental Bear. Frostworm's Elemental Bears and Snow Leopards as an army? There's potential for that. I'll think about it. Anyway, Throt the Unclean down to half HP, with most of the Snow Leopards attempting to focus him down. His summoned rat ogres to about half HP, as well as we've essentially been spreading out the damage on him. The rest of the battle is soon about to be joined as more enemy units move in, but our own reinforcements are moving onto the field as well. Our step distractions and other calcified archers are going to charge on forward to knock out that Plague Claw catapult, while the rest of our melee units attempt to hold back the rat tide. Alrighty, fortunately, the sacrificeable Kislevite warriors are still managing to hold without breaking, and thus allowing our Kossars to continue to work. Shots from that Plague Claw catapult are dropping down on them, however, and that's why we must knock it down ASAP with that pile of Ungol archers. The Snow Leopards are continuing to do work, and Throt is down to maybe 20% of his HP, not nearly as threatening as he was in the last battle. Plus, we have additional units as well. We have sent in piles of Acolytes of Ursun, who got their debut battle with Mother Estanka before, and but now can do a little bit more. And who are they fighting here? We got Clan Rats. I think there's a unit of Night Runners in here as well. We'll see how their twin axes deal with all of this. Their melee defense, unfortunately, is still quite low, and Uragni doesn't have the plus 10 melee defense buff for them. But that's okay. I still think that the Protector of the Motherland was the more appropriate buff, and we're still going to have bigger piles of them in Kastalton's army. Assuming he doesn't die, but I don't think he will at this point. We have more or less surrounded Prague, so the enemy would have to get through us to get to him. And now we just have to wait out the clock so that we can... so that we can confederate him. Anyway, looks like Throt the Unclean is booking it on out of there now, still being chased around by at least one of the snow leopards, and it's Kitka who's going after him this time around. The other snow leopards are all busy as well. If you have peeled away to chase other units around, gotta remember that the snow leopards do have maim on them, which is quite useful, if nothing else, to slow enemies down by that 25 speed, which is considerable enough to warrant or to give the ability to chase piles of rats around. Another snow leopard, elemental bear breath comes down in the biggest blob of enemy rats as we can, and I did promise a THAW-INSPIRING battle, and I think this battle has certainly delivered. Anyway, there's a warlord in here fighting amongst the acolytes of Ursun, and Snowball 1 and Snuggles are going after him. Especially as the acolytes of Ursun, though their weapon strength is very high, their armor-piercing weapon damage is only 20 compared to the 40 of their regular attack. Could use a little bit of help, and here comes the Druzhina with his great axe to work together with those snow leopards on the enemy warlord. Acolytes are still fighting admirably against the piles of enemy clan rats and storm vermin, but it looks like the battle is very much turning in our favor. Throt, I believe, has been hunted down by the snow leopards now, and 4 of them are switching to target the enemy Grace here, ooh, who has a healing potion. Would be lovely to steal that. Over in the back lines, our units of horse archers have destroyed the enemy plague claw catapults and are now doing their best to chase enemy units down so that the rats cannot rally, as that's always the biggest, well, not the biggest issue, but a big issue with fighting the Skaven, generally speaking. Fortunately for us, it looks like the battle is just about in our hands. The chain route is nearly here as most of the enemy army start to waver. Get one more hailstorm dropping down upon some enemy storm vermin and or clan rats here. Maybe clip our own unit of Kislevite warriors a bit, but that's alright, that's what they're there for. Alright, and I do believe with that hailstorm the enemy army will finally shatter, and the 8-minute long battle is ours. Definitely one of the longer battles we played, and some fantastic shots in this one as well. Very happy with it. I'm very happy, though unfortunately the Boydenham's Brawlers didn't do all that much. They did get some great volleys out on Mr. Gorch there, but the sort of terrain that we got stuck with in this particular battle prevented them from getting a good line of sight on most enemy units, and thus they weren't able to quite volley as well as they would have liked, but all good, a very nice fight. Ooh, a potion of healing, very nice reward for the battle, and 5.2k money, well earned, I should say. That was a pretty darn epic fight. I got ourselves 3 levels for the Beledden and the Defender, and we'll take the additional cash, I think, as well, as these guys are pretty much done, or at the very least, they're pretty much done here. Now, Throt was killed off, so we won't be able to get his lovely defeat rate on anybody else, alas, but, oh well, and that's fine. Ratcatcher, another Ritual Enforcer, getting plenty of these now, though I suppose if we later end up fighting Sigvald. Okay, Otter is up. Doesn't seem to be killing off any of our snow leopards or anything like that, but just in case I'm gonna quick save. Why? Because sometimes the auto-resolve lies, and I remember that in the Empire campaign, sometimes the war wagons die despite the auto-resolve not saying they will. Now, but we're fine there, but still, I wasn't willing to risk it. We'll occupy the place. Alright, and a Talisman of Endurance for... you can hold on to that for now. I'm probably going to swap it to somebody else, and same goes for these items, but for now you're good as well. Root Marcher, Inspiring Presence, and... let's get you Freezing Winds and Gust of True Flight. Or do we get a... you know, let's get a point in Biting Wind. Could have actually helped there as well. Alright, not too bad. Funnily enough, your army still remains quite cheap due to the primarily being made up of basic troops. You still need to this isn't what this army is going to look like. It's a bunch of troops that are supposed to be transferred to stuff, but we haven't really had the opportunity to do so. Now, I'm hoping that one of you guys can take Fort Draghov from here. The other one can besiege the Tower of Carck, and the other one can go to the lair of the Troll King, while Tzarina Katarin, I guess, moves back southward again, as we'll need to deal with all this. Who still needs to move this turn? Looks like nobody. We do have a little bit of money. I'm wont to spend it, but, you know, gotta do what you gotta do. Volksgrad, I think we're safe to upgrade you, as I doubt that they'll be able to take you. These places are a little bit in more danger, but, well, Yechich should be relatively safe. So yeah, we'll upgrade the town here, and then we'll upgrade the church here, and then another church here in the Orthodoxy Chapel. Or in Novkazi, rather. I confused myself. Ruinous hurt himself in his confusion. And I might as well upgrade the merchant traders and the timber mill here as well. It's not super expensive and we need the growth. Here, there isn't really much purpose in building... Yeah, we can still build the market square here, I guess. Despite the lack of cost reduction. Or we could just wait the turn. Not gonna change anything. What about here? We could move immediately here, but you know what? I think we need the speed up rather than the other things. So, okay, first of all, Lataman, do we have a... Okay, we have a thing for you. Pragmatic Defender versus Recruiter. Upkeep reduction and recruitment costs. Yeah, I'm gonna go with Recruiter for you as well. Then, you are okay, wait, we need to swap them around now. We'll take you, Mr. Public Order. And we'll pop you into here. Then we'll take you, and we'll pop you into Gormadny Mountains. Yes. And you're actually where you're supposed to be, because you have the construction time reduction, which we're going to need here as well. You can also build the cattle ranch to grow the place faster. Really potential. But... once again, our money is in a bit of a situation right now. Patriarchs, we should be able to start getting more soon, as Uragni is going to need a couple, as he's going to have his command squad with Gotrek and Felix, and once again, possibly Ulrika, but don't know what happened there. Whatever, it is what it is. Alright, and the rest of that, I believe, looks good, or at the very least, I'm disinclined to spend any more cash. We also need to save up to max out Kislev. But that'll probably be in a bit. Tyranok, willing to trade and pay us money while you're at it? Yes, please. Counter a little bit of that negative upkeep. We also dread one a piece set, but that doesn't really do anything for us right now. Profit is up for 25 turns. I also have to watch out for Archie. Since he's just declared war on us, he has territory here and territory here. I wonder how long... Is it safe to take the Pillars of Skulls? This is gonna be the question. I guess we'll have to see. Unassigned skill points building upgrade available end turn. And where is Morlaw gonna go? Probably gonna besiege or take the Temple of Heimkel. Sack it or raise it. And Bastion Knight... Huh, I'm gonna move to... Oh no, not another plague guy. Please, please, rats, stop it. Maybe if we just pretend he doesn't exist, the rats actually won't exist. And yeah, these guys are coming. Alright, Tzarina Katarin, you know where you're going, and... Now, you've moved in an interesting manner. Are you close enough to this? You are still close enough, so we could potentially chase you down. Pestilence scheme performed by the clan Mulder. Yeah, I saw. Ready for duty, that's all fine. Dangerous winds. Oh, Lord, 10 turns of research rate and plus 20% miscast chance. Game, what are you doing? That's in combination with draining winds. Why are you doing this? Okay. Alright, so how about you two?
Defender of Kislev.
We still need to besiege the Tower of Carck. Oh wow, you're actually quite damaged. I also wanted to send somebody to recruit, or to go down to Erengrad. We also don't want these guys to rebuild here. I think it's a... What we also really don't want is like the Empire or Visenland to take Erengrad before we do, because then we just have to like either trade them or kill them. Now we don't know what kind of stack is here. This stack is decent. Would it be able to defeat what's here? I mean, it's a few Chaos Warriors and some... Yeah, it probably would. Alright, fine. We're going to have you besiege the Tower of Carck while damaged, and who knows, maybe they'd be willing to sally out against this army. Also, you can have Inspiring Presence, and... I guess firing drills? Well, you know what? You don't have a lot of units that would benefit from it right now, though you will later. What you will have is multiple horse archers. 6, more than the 4 that you have right now, so you can start on Relentless Chargers, I guess. But actually get Root Marcher first. Alright, you're gonna go here, Beledna. Like so. And we'll see what's in here. Medium casualties, eh? I kind of don't like that. We might be better off fighting this. And just to reduce the numbers of casualties, because we'll want Vladimir Mikheyev to be able to move to Lair of the Troll King next turn. Igor Talichev will go to Tower of Carck and besiege it. And we'll see if we can force the enemy to sally out and attack you. It does say valiant defeat after all. And you know, just in case, though you have no hero, I'd like you to get one of those anti-seducer guys. I don't remember what they were called. Ritual Enforcer. There we go. Alright, that's good. Though we don't have anybody at Erengrad, we could summon a Temp Lord, but then it would cost like 3 times as much to... Throggy, go away. Trespass, issue, declare war, 5 turns. He's heading for the Orthodoxy. Can he kill them with this? I'm gonna say no. Unless they're somehow incredibly stupid. I shouldn't jinx it, because they very well could be. Tzarina Katarin. I would like you to... I was about to say go by sea. And we do have Purge the Steppes here, but the problem is most likely Bastion will take it next turn. And I think full speed stance offers us a little bit more movement speed. I think. Let's find out. Go just to see. And I want to see. So currently you can move here. How much further can you go? Can you go any further than this? Not really. Campaign movement plus 100. What was the March stance campaign movement? Either way, they can't take Frozen Landing, but we can't heal this way, so I think we're just going to go to the Frozen Landing by land then. Yeah, it's not really much of a difference by the looks of it. Alright, go this way then. And keep on traveling. This way at least you'll heal up to full. And we'll move to the Temple of Heimkel, presumably after it falls next turn. We didn't invest anything in it, so it's free as it is. Well, either way, what we do want to do is build the Stonemason's Workshop here, go for the Market Square, and then upgrade the Fort Warslaw, but don't bother going for Carrick Valais or for Temple of Heimkel and any of the other stuff. Next... we'll want to take Victor Zamet and Uragni and send them both to the Temple of Pillar of Skulls, rather. And decisive defeat, that's fine. We're getting to fight this as well. Yeah, decent likelihood that Archie is coming. Keep in camp stance, I guess. Decent likelihood that Archie is coming, as I said. Hopefully what we can do is take this and then take this and destroy the rats for good relatively shortly. I also don't know how many turns Throt is wounded. Oh, and the orcs are coming as well. It's a party. Build the walls here. Diplomacy. You're up next. Hexoat want to trade. They are at war with the Kunstmarschall's expedition in the Jade Court, but I think anybody who's willing to trade with us right now is somebody we're willing to trade with. Pretty much anybody. How much would you give us to peace out? 1.2k now? These guys won't like it. But frankly, I think we need the money more. We can always declare war on them in 10 turns again, until they're willing to peace out again. Alright, that'll keep us in decent shape for the next couple of turns. Alright, so we'll fight this, and hopefully we'll be able to knock out Throt and Azazel essentially at the same time, which would keep us in a lot better shape than we were before. All over a single turn, though at the cost of a couple, well, not a single turn, at the cost of a couple of turns worth of this. Anyway, we should fight this. Uragni, I think it's time again. Close victory, we'll see about that. I did not check whether they have defenses, but I don't believe they do. Go.
privilege. Do not squander it.
All right, these guys are gonna drop a heck of an album. All right, Yarogny and his command squad getting ready to work. Once again, we are going to wait for our reinforcements because it looks like the enemy won't move towards us by themselves. But that's all right, and that's probably good considering that they have a Plague Claw catapult on field, and we don't really have anything we can do about it at this point. Though I suppose we could just run these guys at it, and it's not like the rats would be able to do anything about them anyway. Anyway, we'll see. I am curious how the little Groms measure up in a little bit of an artillery duel, and how long it takes for them to knock out a single Plague Claw catapult. They do technically outrange it, so we shall see. Anyway, little Groms are up and get their first shot out, which will impact, by the looks of it, the crew of the Plague Claw, knocking out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 units of crew, which actually isn't that much. It's not even enough crew for a single Plague Claw. Man, I thought that the single shot would actually... Okay, and that one missed. It's a stationary target, and it's pretty big, guys. Come on. And that one sort of missed as well. Huh. Little Groms, I'm gonna need you to try a little bit harder. I know that you're a hybrid unit, and half single entity, half artillery piece. But I've seen Cygors relatively recently do work, and they're a lot better at this. Once again, granted, this isn't in sort of an ideal use for them. They're sort of best for gunning down things like cavalry. And man, not a single shot has destroyed a Plague Claw catapult yet. That's kind of surprising. I would have expected them to do better at focusing down the actual artillery pieces rather than mostly glancing blows on enemy crews. Granted, this is also the first time we've used it against artillery... Stop missing. Against artillery pieces rather than... Stop missing! Artillery pieces rather than enemy units. But the little ground projectiles are also slow enough so that they can't really target enemy lords super well. At least enemy lords that are actually actively trying to dodge it. There, that's what I wanted. Actually hit the artillery pieces and reduce their numbers. You guys have wasted 20% of your ammunition on that to take out one artillery piece out of 8 on the Plague Claws. I believe they have 4 in vanilla, so yeah. Ah, there we go. A little better. That's 2 now. SFO increases them to 8. Anyway, they're down to 6 now, though, considering how many shots they've taken. They've not really lost a lot of HP, admittedly. And unfortunately, that has annoyed the enemy army sufficiently to start moving towards us, and the Plague Claws will fire back, I believe, on the little Groms. I'm curious to see how much damage this does. I mean, they're not going to be super accurate as well, but it'll take about 200 HP off of it. Honestly, I think a little Grom might actually lose an artillery duel against a Plague Claw catapult. Imagine if they had been firing this entire time, considering how little these guys have lost in terms of their HP under fire from both little Groms. Interesting. Not a big deal, though. It's not like we really need them to do that work for us. We just want to knock out the artillery piece, but if we have to send somebody else to deal with it, then we will. The rest of our army is waiting beside this nice little lava canyon thing that we've got going here, where the armored Cossars will be gunning down rats as they move towards them. Gonna back up just a teensy bit to allow our Cossars to get into range, and then send the command squad right on in. There's some rat ogres to take care of for your Agni, etc. And they're a pretty solid target, as they're a fast-moving unit and would otherwise be a threat to the rest of our units. Looks like the enemy range units want to target our Družinak, who's also trying to snipe away those rat ogres a little bit. Over on the flanks, we do have some clan rats attempting to move in, and over on the right flank, the same thing, but we do drop the ice sheet from our mage upon them, so their left flank will probably hit us, and the right flank will take quite a while. Enemy rats dropping in droves as they get gunned down by the pistols of the armored Cossars, and from the arrows of the unarmored, but the enemy is firing back with those slings of theirs. Looks like the first enemy unit of clan rats has melted away, and we'll be switching to the next. Over on the leftmost, the really leftmost flank, we've also sent in the wardens in Watchers in the Night by themselves. I really am loving this unit, and I wish we could build a twin blade variant of Cossars as well. Not that I dislike the sort of sword and board variant. I just really like watching twin blade units fight. Alright, well, I'm sure these guys will make mincemeat of those clan rats with pretty darn greaties. They've taken no damage so far, and the clan rats have dropped down to about half HP. That said, it looks like the enemy has called for reinforcements as a unit of storm vermin have moved in, though they will start taking arrows and pistol shots into the back, and probably a few great weapons as well, as our armored Cossars with great weapons are here to help out. Really, you shouldn't turn your swords and your boards away from our units in this manner. But oh well, that's their problem. Anyway, looks like another big old blob has finally arrived on the rightmost flank. Fortunately, the impassable canyon is protecting us, and we're getting a little bit of help from our Frost Maiden, who's dropping kisses down upon them, while arrows continue to drop on from above. Our Druzhina has peeled away from the command squad and is going after the enemy lord, just to make sure that he doesn't mince our own Cossars here, as due to their lack of armor piercing, they wouldn't be able to easily bring him down. We also sent one of our patriarchs to send that plague claw catapult scurrying away, as our little Groms just weren't able to cut it for doing that, while Urogni's command squad remains in the center of the fight and continues racking up those kills. Gotrek, Felix, one of the patriarchs, not two of the patriarchs now, all still fighting, what, 3 or 4 units of rats? Looks like 3 now. I think there were 4, but the 4th one peeled away probably to join and the rest of the enemy. Anyway, the enemy lord booking it on out of there, but gets sniped by the Druzhina, who turns his back in to add insult to injury, and just got to take care of the last of the units fighting the command squad. But it's not like the command squad is under any threat from these guys, so that's all just fine. I see Scurry Away is up and running now, and by the looks of it, the balance of power is rapidly shifting in our favor. We can get a few more parting shots with our little Groms, a few more parting blows with our axes, and with that, the battle is ours. Alright, Storm Vermin with Halberds, you were supposed to turn and run at the same time as I said that, but you didn't, and you ruined it. You ruined it for me. Are you happy? Ruinous. I hate getting a taste of my own medicine, but anyway, it looks like a few more enemies to knock out until we can get the halberds to scurry away, but it looks like they're on the fence as well, and hey, getting a few blows from our Frost Witch here as well. And there we go, now they're out, and oh, I suppose the Plague Monks will still have to be killed down to a single rat, but that's just fine by me, and it's certainly just fine by Urogni. I don't think he'd have it any other way. Alright, that's a flashy animation from the Frost Witch, but it is hard to keep on screen. Anyway. Should you run? I don't think you can run because you're unbreakable. Oh, I love watching the command squad fight. It's actually quite fun. It really does make it a very different sort of action compared to the way that regular armies function. And there we go. Very nice. And that's another reason why I wanted Ulrika in there. With that, the battle is finally ours, very off cue this time around. Can't be forgetting those plague monks. I have a tendency, for a while I kept forgetting in vanilla that they're not unbreakable, as they are unbreakable in SFO, but then after playing vanilla for a while, I'm like, wait a second, they're breakable, but now they're back to unbreakable again. It's very confusing, guys, very confusing. Alrighty, nice try, Gotrek, nice try. Close, but you gotta be a little bit deadlier to keep up with your Rogni. Otherwise, the battle went pretty darn well, only 23 losses. A little bit disappointed in the little Grom's inability to damage the enemy Plague Claw catapults, and the fact that those big old projectiles of theirs can't knock out individual catapults, but what can you do? What can you do? At least our unit can fight in melee as they have done before. Anyway, we got 2,000 gold for that. We're going to occupy the place as well. And got another tax collector, but I don't think we need one of those here. A dragon helm for Victor Zambin. Now we're going to turn that into a better piece of armor. Akshina Informant on Uragni. Yeah, sure, that'll work. War Horse for Uragni. Well, that's an interesting question. Because Gotrek is stuck on foot, and I don't know about Felix, but I feel like he's also stuck on foot. Oh, Felix also got an Akshina Informant. No, those go to Lords because of the additional campaign movement range. To Lords, please. Everybody's getting informants. And Luckstone and another Akshina. Okay, we're gonna have to spread those out between the Lords. Anyway, you...
Double pace.
Well, now... Oh, man, you're gonna suffer attrition, but I think it'll be worth it as long as there isn't, like, a full stack here. You're going to march stance all the way to Tribe Slaughter and hopefully knock it out next turn. Bit of a risk here, but what can you do? I also wonder if this guy's going to try to return here, but this, I take it, is his last territory. 2 territories, what? Oh, right, we still have to well, it will be 1 territory. Still have to manually fight the battle for... Okay, we don't need the Oblast mood here. Actually, Zoyshank, I was going to get another 2... Wait, where are we? I was going to get another 2 of the Calcified Archers here, so maybe we'll keep it for a turn. Anyway, we'll fight Fort Strogov manually as well, but it'll be next time, I think, as there are some decent units here. Death Globes, Poison Wind, Storm Vermin, etc, etc, etc. And these guys are a little bit damaged, though we do have the reinforcements, but they can fight together for a turn before we send Vladimir out to the lair of the Troll King. And hopefully, by next turn, we will have not destroyed Throg and destroyed Azazel's faction together. Soon we will have to redeclare war on Throg, but at the same time, we will move Tzarina Katarin down here to start dealing with Archaon. I doubt that we'll be able to knock him out for good, and we have to keep in mind that most likely, since the Maggot host is no longer at war with them, they'll likely declare war on us as well, so it'll be Archaon and Tamarkan for us to deal with. But it'll be a fun time, I'm sure. Plus we'll have to send an army down here to deal with Grimgor as well. A very, very fun campaign. Stay tuned for more. Don't forget to leave those likes and comments below, especially the threshold. All glory to the algorithm. And thanks for watching.